I've come back to where I was a couple of days ago. I don't know if you saw the last video. It was just over there, the view I painted, but it was a lot more misty and it's not quite as atmospheric now the sun's out. But I'm just going to wander off in that direction, see what else I can find. Found this little stream. I'm just going to follow this stream down there until it opens up a little bit for a decent painting. I think this is the scene, something like that I think. So I'm going to take some photographs and then head back home to some painting. So this is the photograph I took on that little trip. So we've got a little stream here, fallen trunk here running across the river, which I'll probably put in as well. Mass of trees. I'll try and simplify that. So let's have a crack at it. I'm going to start off with a big brush, and this is just clean water, which is just going to lubricate the page and stop it going all crinkly, and also soften up the background, which today, let's try and do something different. I'm just going to use a bit of burnt umber, a bit of cadmium yellow. Just see what it looks like. More water, a bit more brown, a bit more yellow. Try and preserve that little white area there. Also, I haven't quite lined it up. I was going to try and get it in line, but let's try and keep a light area down there as well. I want to darken this up a bit, so I'm just going to, bit of brown, bit of blue. Some darker areas in the sky. Really sort of emphasises that lit area there. A bit more yellow, a bit more blue. I'm just going to push that in like that. I think I'm not going to do any more with the sky area now. The horizon line is going to be somewhere, I'll bring it down a bit I think. About a third of the way up. So I'm just going to, first I'm going to soak up that bit of water along the bottom of the page. Then I'm going to take the little rigger brush, bit of brown, need more water, brown, yellow, go into a bit of blue there as well. And then I'm just going to bang in a few of those distant trees, not much detail at this sort of length, right the way back. And a bit more brown, a bit more yellow, umber, ultramarine. And we've got just a few little trees right in the distance, not a lot of detail. I'm going to put some up there as well. I can't see the photograph, but it's, remember, we're not copying the photograph, we're just using it as a reference to create our own impression of the scene. I'm more about mood and atmosphere, or that rather than accuracy. So that's a little bit of yellow just down there, and a little bit up there as well. And again, I'm just watching that water soaking up at the bottom of the paper. Put a few more trees in. Again, plenty of water on the brush, and I'm just flicking between the ultramarine and the cadmium yellow, and I'm just flicking these up. And don't forget to pull down your reflections as well. There is going to be some water down there, so that needs to be reflected down below what you're putting above. More water, more yellow, more blue. Bit of brown as well. Put a few over this side. There's no water down there on the right hand side of the bank, so I don't have to bother putting reflections down. I do along here, a few reflections down there. Yeah, a bit more yellow. Let's clean the brush, it's gone a bit muddy now. I want it more brighter, cleaner colour. So, clean the brush, take the excess off on the tea towel. Let's go straight into that cadmium yellow. Look how clean that is now. And I'm just going to defining now where this land actually is. Yeah, just soaking up that water on the bottom. That's muddied it slightly, but I ain't going to worry about it. More in there. Right, now the stream sort of comes round like that, so pop that in down there like that. And that goes up there. Something like that. It comes across. Goes up there. Something like so. And you can see how the paper stretch is coming away from the board, so I'm just going to unclip it with these clips on the right hand side, pull it tight so it's flat against this 9mm piece of plywood that I bought from B&Q, comes in handy. Just cut it to the right width as well, so it's just the right size. Back to this little brush. A few more trees in there, a few more reflections. And obviously where I've pushed it above the bank, I'll just paint over that, don't worry about it. More up here. Paper is starting to dry a bit now. So once it's dried, I'm going to go on it with the height brush. Get some real thick meaty trees on there. We can. Just put a few side twigs and things going on there as well. I haven't put any on yet. All the branches and the twigs and all this sort of stuff going on all over the place. See coming down off the top. Anything you don't like, you can just paint straight over it, don't worry about it. Don't forget the reflections. Right, let's put some big thick ones in there. So, see my hairs, I've sort of gone all over the place now with this brush, so I'm just dipping it in the water just to bring all the hairs back together. And then I want a nice dark colour, a bit of brown, a bit of blue, a bit of yellow as well if you want. Keeping an eye on that there. I don't want that to come down any lower. I'm just going to stop it there and I'll paint over it. It was just a very wet piece that I put on, that's why it started to drip down. Let's put in some thicker branches now. Now these are in the foreground. So there needs to be more paint, less water. Got that reflection in the water. The bank's about there, so I will need a reflection on that one. Let's put some up there like that. Now we've got a whole load on this left hand side, and then what I'll do after the reflections, I'll use a little brush to put a few twigs and branches on them. Reload the brush, bit of brown, bit of blue, maybe a bit of yellow as well. Don't want this too wet. A few on this left hand side. Let's switch to the little brush now, so I'm just doing a bit of brown, bit of blue. Let's just put a few branches here and there. Don't forget the reflections. they go in on all sorts of different directions. Don't do them all nice parallel straight lines. Remember, nature grows every which way. And what I might do is just give the brush a clean, squeeze all the water out into the jar with my finger, and dry the rest of it on this tea towel. Now let's go back into those same colours, and I'm just going to a little bit of dry brushwork even there. These are just dead leaves on the trees. Some are still a little bit yellow. Just a sort of en masse. Things growing even there. A few down on the ground. A bit more yellow. Some down there. Get the reflections down below. Right, let's define these riverbanks now a bit better. So, in the same colours, bit of brown, bit of blue, and we'll come down here and just work out where these banks are. I've got a bank there. Can't resist with a few little stones in. Even there, it's raining outside, so it might get a bit loud on the roof in a minute. Got a bank going off into the distance over there, and that's something there. Okay, I want to clean the brush now, squeeze the water out. So I want to get back to the light colour. Take that off. Go back into that yellow. Yellow coming right up there like that. Get it in there. Don't be afraid to hurt the brush. Well, I was tempted to put a big stone in there, but I won't do it. I'm always going completely over the top with those. Let's put some of the big branches in there. So again, back to that burnt umber, bit of ultramarine. Got a big one there, it's sort of going up there like that. Just going off, just slightly off the edge of the page there. It's going in there, load of sweets and things, just scratching them in with my nail. Things down here as well. We've got there's another big one on this side. We've got one up there like that. There's a sort of triple. Triple one there. And we'll have to put that reflection in. Not forgetting, we do have this, there's this one that's just over the, leaning over the water, isn't there? Just there like that, and the sun just popping their heads up. bits and things all over the place. There's the things down there. And then I'm just going to pull this tight against this piece of plywood again. So all I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to go a quick dry. Put some shadows in. So shadow colours. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to go a bit of brown, bit of red, bit of blue, brown, red, blue, and you're pretty much there. I don't get caught up too much on shadow mixes. I'll try and sort of lean it towards blue. Right, plenty on the brush. And then I'm going to imagine the sun's up here somewhere, so I'm just following the line of the sun. So we're sort of, that's coming down there like that. And we got these ones cutting across. Remember, they don't just give them straight lines, these shadows, and they cross the land. They follow the undulations of the land up and down and round and round. And big shadow there from this tree. Let's just darken that a little bit. And the shadows coming down there. Some over there. And I'm just going to take some of that off on a piece of tissue. And it's just a little bit of dark. A bit up there. Some in the distance there. Right, how's that starting to look? Oh, before I start fiddling, I think I'm there or thereabouts. I think I'm pretty much done with that now. I'm going to call that one finished. So back to the little brush. I'm just going to pop my name in the corner. Let's just pop it down there, I think. Let's stick a mount on it and see what it looks like. So we have our finished painting all mounted up. So let's see how it compares to the photograph. So in terms of the composition, I've not really changed too much. Maybe brought this tree down a little bit further. The shape of the stream is slightly different, and a lot of those distant trees aren't quite as defined. I've tried to make them, push them right back, basically when the paper's still wet, just to soften them right off. But as I said in the commentary, the main focus for me was to improve on the mood and atmosphere of the scene. I've used a different colour palette, and hopefully I've managed to achieve that. So these trees are put in varying degrees of dryness of the paper to determine where exactly they are. I'll try and do it in 3 layers generally. We've got our most distant ones there, which you can hardly see really. They were just put in using the rigger brush. Paper was still wet. Quite a watery mix. And then as the paper dries, they go on stronger and stronger. The tones get darker and darker, and the trees become more defined and sort of come closer and closer to the viewer. until we get these great big monster foreground trees using the height brush. Another big foreground one on this left hand side, splitting up as it shoots out of the scene. You can see again with this bush or tree, putting it in while the paper was still wet, really softened it. No detail, lightish tone, and it just pushes it right back into the scene. Maybe could have done with a little reflection there to capture it in the water below. And then we've got this sort of lit area, this light trying to come through the scene. I've tried to capture with the shadows coming from these trees either side. And then to help define where the bank, where the water meets the land, I've just put in these little rocks and stones and pebbles using the corner of a plastic card. And obviously they get smaller and smaller as they fade away into the distance. A few more here on the other bank, just going round the river bend. Well, I hope you like that. That's it for this painting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.